Yes, let's go. Erev Chodesh Adar. Chodesh Adar. Mishaniknas Adar Ma bin Besimcha. Adar Aleph. We got this. We got to keep Simchadik and get ready for the fabulous time that awaits. Purim Cotton, Purim Godel. This is the focus. We're going to have good news only. Besoros Tovus. This is what it's about. Simchadik is Shabbos coming up. It's Rosh Chodesh Dik. It's time to learn some Tanya, Sefer Tanya together. Zusammen. Ha ya 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 na 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 ya ha ya na na ya ha ya na na ya na na ya ma na na bam bam. To get moving, since it's Erev Rosh Chodesh, Adar, Aleph, and we are going ahead with a beautiful Shabbos in the Holy Land, Pasha Mishpatim. I think we're having a Suda together as well, which is Rav Chaim Millers
Chaim Miller.
Not by Chaim Miller, we're eating by
You said the Chaim
Michal. Oh yeah, Chaim Miller. So we are holding by chapter 7. Now it's important, before we jump into this beautiful chapter, just to look again at Shmuel Diamond's amazing summary. It's at b'nai-aliyah.com.
Hit him up, subscribe, follow.
He doesn't care about all that stuff. He doesn't even have like an iPhone or anything. He's in another, let's see us. But anyway, Klipah's Noga, the iridescent Klipah. You know, some people like all this clout talk. It means something, but some people not. Baruch Hashem. He has in his email signature, I do not have a smartphone or iPhone or this phone. he's just serving Hashem.
Now,
the higher
where's
level.
G-dly from?
He's from. We grew up together. I told you. We went to school together. From London, mate.
London.
We went to school together. Baruch Hashem. He's a good yid. Now the higher level Klipah. Klipah's Noga. I like how he does all these things. He calls iridescent Klipah.
Yeah, what does iridescent mean?
So we're going to have to go into Tanya to explain that. But it's called the fourth Klipah and contains some of the good. Remember the three we just mentioned, the previous chapter? Yeah. We were still 2 levels we were talking about. 2 levels of Klipahs. And the first, we talked about the Gimel Klipahs Tameis. Roshi Tevas GKH. I don't even know how to say that because I'm so used to Hebrew. I was about to say Gimel. So it's Gimel, no, GKH. Yeah. Gimel Klipahs Tameis. But Kuf Nun. KN, I don't even know how to say English anymore. Yeah. It's called the fourth Klipah and contains some good within it. It's a translucent covering. Here we go, translucent, that's what I always call it. This level of creation comprises the life-giving animal soul of the Jew, we're going to see in Tanya in a minute, all body and soul of any animal, vegetable, or mineral that's permissible to be eaten by the Jew, the body and soul, I'm happy to see you looking inside as well, of all permissible action, speech, and thought that no connection to any negative prohibition of the Torah, but is not performed of any divine purpose. Okay, so it's like this neutral, could we call it that? I don't know.
Switzerland, it's like Switzerland.
Yeah, a little bit. Interacting with Canaan. Canaan exists in between Kedusha and Gimel Klipahs Tameis. I mean, it sounds like, neutral, but, let's he hasn't said that word, so maybe there's a reason. He's pretty intentional. When one interacts with Canaan for a godly reason, the life force contained within the Klipah is released and returned to the home in Kedusha. One acts with the Canaan for a selfish reason, the life force contained within the Klipah temporarily descends and is held captive of the Gimel Klipahs Tameis until he does tshuva. So this is like, this is a lot of what we're dealing with, I would say, Let's read that part again, I think, because that's more like where we're holding after all the different things we've learned so far. When out to the Klipah's Noga, this translucent, what was the word he used? Iridescent Klipah. For godly reasons, the life will contain the Klipah is released and returns to its home in Kedusha. So we'll take a Big Mac. No, I'm talking about something that would be Gimel Klipahs Tameis. I'm talking about something that's now neutral, like New Delhi. I not that I really eat that, but all right, let's just say holy bagel. We take a holy bagel, and we got to decide now: are we going to eat this l'shem shemaim, or are we just going to fress like an animal? Yeah. So if we eat it l'shem shemaim, in order that we can learn the next day Tanya or daven and be a good husband and serve Hashem and be involved with the yichud, so we release the kedusha within the holy bagel. Otherwise, it's just in this neutral sort of territory. When one interacts with Klipah Noga for a selfish reason, the force is contained within. So now, if he really fresses that New Delhi, all the way down to every little lick of the wrapper, and he's just thinking about all kinds of, like his next Netflix binge, that kind of dude is bringing it down to Gimel Klipahs Tameis.
He's like taking the sauce with his finger and dipping it in this little sauce packages.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. Until he does tshuva. He has to do tshuva.
My sons do that.
Yeah, until he does tshuva, that's the point. interacting with Gimel Kibbutz Timaeus. When it comes to Gimel Kibbutz Timaeus, some of the life force of Nefesh Behemoth descends to Gimel Kibbutz Timaeus is held captive until there. Hashem brings the final redemption. The Gimel Kibbutz Timaeus are removed from this world, so that's good news. They have to wait till Mashiach comes to get rid of that stuff. The Jew does a deep and sincere tshuva that can potentially turn his transgression into merits. The difference between all sexual prohibition and transgression or wasting seed. Okay, that's going to be a climax at the end of the Perek. Coming attractions. So we might not get there today, but maybe tomorrow. And in Mitzvah Hashem, we're Baruch Hashem. My wife had this little vacation. It was actually a bit of a nightmare because the hotel, I'm not going to say the name of it, but it was b'chlal not luxurious, not even a little bit. In fact, it could be. My wife was saying that our house is actually nicer.
Oh,
and our house is pretty crap. So she said even our old pillows, which we've had for years, and we need to renew them at some point. She said even them were better.
Oh boy,
the Airbnb was definitely better. Yeah.
So what do you do?
So she just sort of suffered it out a night and day for the sake of making a family member feel like they did something for us. But they did do something for us. They appreciated it. They ordered sushi and they try to make it nice.
Japan.
I know where they got it from, but they try to make it nice, but it wasn't so nice. There's Afghanot going on in Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim's still a bit in Golis, and so are some of these standards of these hotels. They're not really customer service friendly, etc., etc. So, okay. So
I don't find any of the hotels in Israel to be customer.
Well, in the end, you just have to focus in. There is a little hotel I go to in Ashdod, which people don't really know about, on a beach called Miami Beach. It's really nice. It's called the West Boutique or something, and I always have a nice experience there, and the customer service is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always just the
every
food's
hotel.
nice. The people are all right. They're not amazing, but it's not. It was better once when had different management. It's gone a bit corporate now, but still, corporate's better than
like an Indian within the.
Get out of my way. Why are you bothering me asking questions?
Right.
Wait a minute. Your job is to me ask questions. No.
Hospitality industry in Israel.
You need tikkunim, yeah. People have gone through war and stuff.
This is even pre-ticket. Well, a lot of them have the Arabs.
That's true also.
But even the non-Arabs.
Look, whatever.
I feel like it's a good Indian, though. In a way, it's like
there's no escaping. There's nowhere to escape over here.
You literally call room service.
You just have to serve Hashem 24/7 because there's no luxury.
Get it yourself.
There's no Aruba. There's no Mexico. There's just serving Hashem here.
Right.
That's it. There's no escape plan.
It's a very real experience here.
Everything.
And it's like I
come out a little purer.
I gave him my car. Yeah, I gave him my car yesterday.
Yeah, kapara.
And so there was definitely kapara. I gave him my car.
Kapara. You have to say it the right way.
Kapara. I gave him my car to the place that it has to be fixed. But, insurance is covering it. But they had to give me a car rental. And so they said, okay, they're going to arrange, insurance pays for it. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the guy picks me up. Drives the car rental place picks me up, drives me to the thing, and the car they want to give me was like mamish, it was like 100 years old. It was like I didn't fit in the car. It was like one of these little.
That's what my wife said about this hotel. You couldn't even fit in the toilet. She said you would definitely have not fit in the toilet, but me, I could. Even her, she's a petite woman. She couldn't fit in.
And my car's like the way it works is you usually get a car rental that's like. At least somewhat close to the car you have, So I have a really nice new car. Not really nice, but just a new car that's nice and
they can't do
big.
That. It's a joke.
And they're like,
it's like making fun. It's almost like they're having a laugh. Right? When you drive off, they're like, they're probably they're watching the footage. They have a video cam there, and they're watching the footage of this American dude get into his crap car, and he's like, "This is what you're giving me," and they watch the expressions, and they're pausing it and slowing and homing in on your facial expressions, and they're just eating popcorn, laughing at you.
It was the car he picked me up in. First of all, it wasn't even clean.
And they'll say, "Let's just break a few things on his car while we're fixing it, so we can charge the insurance more." It wasn't even clean.
That was the thing. He picked me up with the car. Which is hilarious. And then he pulls up. It's one of those cars where you just pull the emergency brake to stop even.
I just pray that I don't have to deal with any of these things. That's why people ask me why I don't have a car. And it's all these kind of reasons. I suffer without it. Because for example, I had a family Simcha I didn't go to because no one would get me there and I didn't want to pay hundreds of shekels to get the taxi in. I had all these reasons, yeah? So I suffer without a car. But when the other side, all these kind of stories... It's it's another way for more nisyonis, more...
Yeah, it is.
like because it's like it builds up. Like you're getting ripped off from the insurance. You're getting ripped off
from everything.
and all the sides. It's just like you just got to like accept. Like if you're going into this, it's going to be. But I have to say, with actually my wife's situation with her car, she maybe got paid a bit extra for it. But other than that, it's actually been really a faithful, good car, and we've had minimal issues with it. Thank God. Thank you, Hashem.
Right, Baruch Hashem.
You know, she even she's banged it up and this and that, but she just doesn't care.
A couple zetzes. Yeah, bang up is okay. This one, the car was really damaged, and I was already going through insurance because I damaged a different car.
Yeah,
it was
so if
my
you're going
fault.
insurance, you might as well just sort it out.
It was my fault.
The amazing with that, what happened with my daughter's car, when my son had to use it on the day of October the 7th for Shem Shemenu, that crazy day, Simcha Torah. So the whole windshield got smashed, and they fixed it b'chinam. They didn't charge us nothing because it's insured. I was very impressed with that.
Baruch Hashem.
Thank you, Hashem. On the other hand, it says here, nefesh, achiyunis, behemis, Yisrael, shemisad klipah, mabeshes bedam ha'odem canal, nefoshes, behemis v'chiyas v'ofes v'dagim toiris, metorim, achile, kiyim, achiyas, ko, hadomen, ko. Oh, let's just translate. It's too much.
Yeah.
Nefesh, ahava. Unlike the life force mentioned at the conclusion of chapter 6, where we said we were talking about the Gimel Klipahs of Timaeus, we're going to now talk about the Gimel. We're not going to talk about Gimel. We're going to talk about this Daled Klipah, the fourth one, called Klipah's Noga. Behemoth Yisrael Mesada Klipah, and Bershus Bedam Odem Knizka Le'il. And we already did mention it before, and it clothes themselves in the animal human soul. Right. If it's one thing, I suppose it is. Vitalizing animal soul in the Jew. That would be a better way of saying it. It's derived from the side of Klipah and which clothes itself in human beings' blood. So this chiyas that I just drinking a coffee right now. Eventually, that coffee is going to turn into some sort of level of blood, and that blood's going to go around my body, and that's the nefesh bahamius and the Klipah Noga interacting and vitalizing the physical laser Goldschmidt or Eddie Goldsmith. And interesting. He writes here, it's not neutral territory. Interesting.
It's embodied in my blood. Okay, so in that blood is
it's a transfluent, shining, transfluent Klipah. Everyone seems to agree with somewhat with this translation. Yeah. What does he say over there? And I'm interested to hear. Klipah's Noga. What's he?
But. Oh, here he says here.
Calls it a but?
The end.
They had enough of that.
That
was the Gimel Klipah's Timaeus. Let's get away from that one. Let's move away from that.
At the end of chapter 6.
Yeah, we dealt with that.
Klipahs fall into two categories. Three completely impure.
Yeah, that we dealt with.
Fourth bright Klipah.
Klipah's comes to Timaeus. That we dealt with. Now we're Klipah Noga. What does he say about Klipah Noga? How does he translate it?
Well, here he goes. The fourth bright Klipah, which
bright
tends
Klipah,
to
that's what he calls
hide
it. Bright.
God's presence, but whose veil can be penetrated through.
He calls it bright.
Focused attention.
Okay. From bright Klipah.
Maybe that's why the women wear a veil.
Bright. Okay, it's interesting. He's calling it bright. Everyone's got different translations. It's okay. I think that fits somewhat.
No
bright.
hate. No hate here.
No, I'm not.
We don't hate him.
I hear that. Yeah. Like Zusha just did a song called Brighter.
It's a very good song.
It's a good song. I sent them both messages yesterday, and the father and his brother. I actually want to see his brother on Sunday, but I sent them all messages. Shlomi to Zach and to the father. I don't want to say his father's name. Maybe he doesn't want people to know it because it's not famous. But I sent more messages and just said I'm so impressed with the creative flow that you guys are doing, and I'm always here for you guys. And I asked them also to done for my son. I told them what's going on with Ken Eunice, and the one who responded most quick, most surprised, literally a second later, was Shlomi. He sent me a message straight away. He said, "Oi, before Shlema, for my son, and I hope it goes well." And then Phil sent. I said his name now. All right, whatever. The father Goldschmidt said. He sent back a whole message, and a beautiful message about how they're always praying for my son, and and they're going to mention my good feelings towards, because all his family are very creative. He's got a grandson who's a very good singer as well in the Chassidish world. They're just a creative family. Ari does art. And it's what's beautiful is they're actually being allowed to do it. You know how many people in the world would dream to do creative professions?
Yeah.
And the people I know who do, they're happy because they're fulfilling. I mean, not happy like externally. I'm talking about like, in a deep way, they're doing what they're here for.
Yeah.
It's hard to make success out of creativity, and Baruch Hashem, there are people who do. So I just give credit to it when I see it because it makes me happy to see that people doing it.
Where does Benny Landau live? He lives nearby.
Who's Benny?
Benjamin Landau.
Don't know. Who is he? Don't know.
He's a singer.
I don't really know.
No, he's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I heard of him.
For sure heard of him. He was on the Tzama album.
Yeah. I think my daughter talks about him a lot. Nefashis behemoths v'chayas v'ofis v'dagim v'toiris v'toim la'achila. And the souls of the animal, beasts, birds, and fish, which are pure according to the law of the Torah, are thus permitted for Jewish consumption. Kiyam v'chayas kol adomim kol asamech mutter ba'achila. And as also exists the vitality of everything in the inanimate and the vegetable world that is permissible for consumption. Yeah. As the idea, as existence, the vitality of everything in inanimate and the vegetable world that is permissible for consumption. Anyway, the reason why I bought Zusha up is just because of the idea of brighter. They're like taking its light on a bright and making it brighter, making its Klipah's noga brighter, like bringing more light to it.
Bright Klipah.
Yeah, but lighting up that space of creativity, because Klipah noga is really, it can also be very much that whole sort of neutral ground. I know he's saying it's not neutral, but the idea is that place where you could go either way. And it's going towards bright. Making it brighter means making it towards kedusha. I think that's the kavanah. Anyway, the concept is that the animal souls, the beasts and the birds and the fish, are pure according to these are the kosher animals, and they are also the existing vitality of everything in inanimate and vegetable world that is permissible consumption. They're part of this Klipah's noga. All these kosher animals and kosher vegetation. So. You understand how it's separating off. It's categorizing creation. Either you're part of the Gimel Klipah's Tameis, which is like, say, a chazar or all this kind of stuff, or you're part of the Klipah's Noga, which would be like a shepsela, yeah? You could shecht a sheep and eat it, yeah, if you feel like it, or a cow, yeah?
But then there's also, because the whole Klipahs, all the Klipahs are from the tzad of the Nefesh Bahamas. So right now we're just dealing in the Nefesh Bahamas, so to speak.
But the difference before, it was even said the nefesh of the goyim. That got pretty intense.
Yeah.
Not so PC, but that's what it was. Okay, Bekiyim achayes kol ma'aseh dibo machshava b'einei olam hazeh she'ein behem sada isa. So too, there is this vitality of every act, utterance, and thought in mundane matters that contain no forbidden aspect.
Right.
So there's a lot of things we're doing in this world. There's no forbidden thing. Like, there's no reason why it has to get involved with Isurim. Yeah, it says, it's very clear here. V'lo shoresh, v'lo anaf, mishasa, mitzvahs, lo taseh, v'nefeim deraisa d'rabbanan. Neither root nor branch of the 365 prohibitive precepts, the lo tasehs, their offshoots, all the different branches that come out of it, on the explicit authority of the Torah by rabbinic enactment. So there's loads of stuff that you can do, mundane things, that are not connected to doing an Avera. They're not connected to Isurim, not bound up by any forbidden aspects. It's like Klipah's Noga. Rak she'ein l'shem shemayim. But they're not performed for the sake of heaven. You know, having a nice schmooze with your friends, you're not talking Lashon Hara. We just spoke about Zusha, for example. Good music, creative space. So they're musician. We're a musician. You appreciate music. There's a lot of Klipah's Noga in music. The question is what you do with it. Yeah, what's your kavanah?
Right.
If your kavanah is the Shem Eli, yeah, which would be both of us actually, because we're both Eli, the Shem Eli, then it can become a problem, because then you're doing it for ego and you're increasing the Gimel Klipah's Tameis. You're bringing that Klipah's Noga into the place you don't want to bring it to. But if you're doing it L'Shem Shemayim, you're doing it L'Shem Hashem, you're elevating the music like Yosef Kaduna style.
Yeah.
So now it's heading in the right direction. Problem is, most people are doing it the Ratzon Aguf. They want to, what would be nowadays, Ratzon with music? It would be because you want clout, you want people to see you, you enjoy the
hard.
attention.
Like, I keep thinking about it. Like, I like to use tzedakah because it's something that, it's a very good example. I think that tzedakah, to give it tzedakah lishma, is very difficult because there's different types of shlavim. There's someone who gives tzedakah, they want the kavod. There's a lot of people who give tzedakah because they feel a sense of obligation and guilt.
Right.
That's also not lishma.
Right.
There's some people who give it, and they give it b'seiser, but they give it b'seiser only because they're trying to, meaning even that is a head game, right? Yeah. They're like, I don't want kavod, so I'm going to give it b'seiser. They don't tell anyone. They really,
but the rabbi
in their
knows.
mind, they're
somebody
being lishma.
knows. Or they know even.
Even that, they're doing it b'seisa for the sake of doing it b'seisa.
We do a podcast called the Real Kindness Podcast. I don't know if you've seen it around. Yosef Aaron has been doing it for a bunch of weeks with just one chesed. Maybe it's for covered, I don't know. I'm hoping it's for the Shem Shemayim. We're trying.
Right.
And one of the episodes we came up with was public or private chesed.
Right.
And Yosef Aaron said a good story where he became the anonymous.
Right.
Meaning everyone knew he was the anonymous donor. So then it was obviously not irrelevant
It's
anymore.
a Curb Your Enthusiasm. Ever hear that show? It's a Curb Your Enthusiasm is a show written by Larry David.
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy who wrote Seinfeld.
Yeah, clever
So he came up with his own show, and one of the things is he gave it anonymous. So it was very funny, but it's true. No, but I was saying, like, even tzedakah, when you think, even someone who really gives it anonymous, mamish, no one knows, in his head when he gave it, he didn't give it necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are, but a lot of people, they don't give it necessarily 100%. Let's say Shem Shemayim. There's like an Indian in there of like, I gave it anonymous because I don't want the covet, but that's not 100% lishma to say I'm doing it because I don't want the covet, or are you doing it because everything is from Hashem. It's not even your money.
What makes it lishma is when it's not just that whole like speech about the Shem Shemayim. It's also the effort, the tircha.
The bittul.
Yeah, the fact that it's not so easy right now. Your wife's getting on your case. Why are you helping these people? Yeah, like I'm not saying you should always have shalom bias, but there's a lot of obstacles for you doing the tzedakah. That's when it gets really the Shem Shemayim.
Right.
Because it's like, what am I doing this for? No one's giving. It's like I'm just getting headache from this.
Yeah.
It's like when I was a midnight rabbi, give an example. Like I was working all night, every night for years.
Yeah.
And there was no cover. The yeshivas didn't care. They were like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'm like, I'm saving on the Shabbos. Yeah, but we've got the usual. We can get away with just having a normal day of rabbis who we pay minimally. We don't need some Meshugana like you running around all night helping our boys be'emes. We don't need it. We'll just cope as a yeshiva without you. We always did, so we'll just carry on. I mean, I'm like, but I'm literally like, the reason some of your boys are not like, I don't know, doing crazy drugs and beating people up in the streets because they have something late at night that's keeping them like focused.
Yeah.
And they're like, but and it's like, so no one's giving you any credit. They don't even want you there.
No
like,
covered.
There's no covered b'chlal. There's no like podcast. There's no like living l'chaim suddenly going to interview me and say talk about the midnight rabbi. Like there was nothing like that then. So I was just doing it like because I saw a need and the bochrim were responding to that need. They themselves called me the midnight rabbi. I didn't even come up with the name, because they needed it. They wanted someone, and they still talk to me here and there. And the other day, one of them he's like doesn't even look so like connected Jewish wise in terms of his lifestyle, but he came and he's full on, like he's appearing in some of the shirim now on the live feeds, and he's like back on, like because I don't know who I affected and who I didn't, and it's you get into this space where it's not easy. You don't see any reason why you should be doing this chesed or kindness or tzedakah. Like for me, it was my time back then, and my shalom bias and money as well, because we fed a lot of these guys. But for like people who are business guys, there's certain things you're going to get involved with. You're going to think, why am I getting all involved in this? This is so much time, so consuming. But that's when it becomes a Shem Shemayim.
Right.
Because now it's not easy. And there are tzedakahs that you can get involved with where you're going to suddenly realize this is testing me a little bit. Right. But you know what? I'm going to get through this. And then that purifies your intention.
Right. No, but I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that I think the reason why we call from the Klipah Noga is because it's, I mean, I don't know how, meaning when we think of a pendulum, right? If you were to take a sifter, and imagine we're taking someone's mitzvah, and we sift it through the sifter, and a pure mitzvah would go straight right through.
Right.
And then as we have secondary intentions, as we all do, little pieces get stuck in the sifter.
Right.
And it's like we're going to daven, but like even when we go to daven, like there's always little bits of like
it's a
nice
comfortable place.
It's comfortable.
Social
it's
status.
There's status. There's guilt. There's that.
Shalom bias. You're getting away from your wife for another hour.
I don't want to do it. I want to be. I'm doing it for chinuch reasons because then this way my kids are gonna daven.
They're gonna know that I daven.
I'm doing it because I have a business deal coming up.
Some from birth had the more complicated issues, like all this guilt and trauma from growing up.
Yeah.
Some crazy father or mashgiach beating them up to go daven. I have all this baggage I don't have, you know.
Yeah.
My mother walks in what are you doing? When she sees me praying at home or something, she's like, what are you doing, you weirdo? You know,
Right.
I don't get any credit for it.
Right.
I go out early in the morning when I'm in London, and my parents, I can picture them saying, crazy man. Yeah,
Crazy.
What's wrong with my son? What's he getting up so
He
early?
snapped. He became a radical.
Yeah, it's not wow, you know, we're getting so much schlepping nachas. You know, they're not schlepping any nachas.
Schlepping nachas out of you.
Maybe deep down now, but there's not. I'm not going to get an award for anything, and most from people also aren't. No one's going to give you an award for turning up for Shachris. I mean, they do nowadays, but they have all these bagel breakfasts.
Yeah.
So the shul somehow has to sort of reward you. You know.
Yeah.
That there's all these side benefits.
Right.
You know? And also, a lot of people do business at shul, but the good thing about this shul, there's no talking.
Right. Exactly.
So you can't come here to have a business meeting because you just get shushed.
I don't know. It's a little dangerous doing business in shul. Because if it goes bad, then you're.
But then in America, you probably have loads of shuls. They have shtibel.
Yeah, you got to switch. Yeah. That's why there's so many shuls.
Like Rav Chaim in Muncie, you can just go to a different tent. You know?
Right. That's why they have so many shuls. So this way, if your business deal goes bad, you have another option. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
See, when he set it up with business mind. What's
right,
exactly. China? He knew what he was doing.
Exactly.
And I don't think that was his reason, but anyway. And have you seen over there? It's cool. The Tzedakah guy, the Gabbai, goes around in one of those bike things. You know, those little wheelie.
Oh yeah.
What's those things you stand on, hoverboard kind of things?
Oh yeah. Like a Segway.
Segway, and he's driving around the shul on a Segway. It's so cool.
They have disposable gartels. Did you ever see that?
No.
You have this giant thing
that
of gartel
so American.
that you take and you rip it and you put it on.
No, thank you. What's on a goof? That's so Tomas. So this is only the will of desire and lust of the body. And even whereas the need of the body are necessary for its very preservation and life, so say you're saying you're doing what you're doing for the sake of preservation for life, such as eating. You need to do this to live. So why can't that be l'shem shemayim? I don't want to eat necessarily. I'm eating because I have to. Sometimes my wife's in that state. I don't know if women, you have this with your wife. They don't always want to eat, whatever reason. I don't know, maybe it's they want to be skinny, whatever their kavanah is, or they just lost appetite because of your crap behavior, whatever it is. Reason they just don't want to eat. And I'm tell my wife, you have to eat right now, because if you don't, I'm going to know about it. You know, just eat. I don't know, figure it out. Find a way to eat right now. But his intention is not itself for the sake of heaven. To utilize his body as an instrument in the service of Hashem. So the intention to eat is to mekayim the guf, but once again, he didn't insert that I like the moshel you gave, the sifter. He didn't insert that pure thought. Without that pure that pure intention. So this is where intention really do matter. The kavanah does make a difference. It's even halacha in Shulchan Aruch. It says in Reish, right at the end of. I don't remember exactly where it is in the Orach Chaim, but right at the end, Reish something, Lamiches or something. It says right at the beginning of Orach, in the beginning of Orach Chaim, but the end part of the first two Sfarim of Mishnah Berurah, it has this whole simon, Reish Lamiches, I think. Kol Chaim, all your life needs to be l'shem shemayim. It's it starts off that way, and it goes into all this thing. We actually in the Shulchan Aruch are asked to serve Hashem, l'shem shemayim. That's what Hashem wants from us. The Shulchan Aruch wants us to not get caught up with Klipah's noga, or worse, or be pulled down to Klipah's Klipah's Tameis. It doesn't say those lashonis there, but that's the point. If the Baal HaTanya is bringing this, then it must be in halacha, it's in Shulchan Aruch, it's in Niglas Torah as well, that you're meant to do things l'shem shemayim. So when you eat, why do you eat? You eat to serve Hashem, not just to make the body function. You eat to serve Hashem, to be able to oved Hashem. That has to be a thought. I'm going to go learn later. I'm going to daven. I need to be functional with my Yiddishkeit. Like you said with tzedakah, I'm working my business so I can give tzedakah, so I can support my kids' chinuch. You have to have these thoughts once in a while. Inject it into your work. It will take it to another level. Think about it. Daven for it. Ask Hashem. Say, I want this panasa not because I need it. I need to have this status of having my own business or whatever reason it is. I want to do it because I can then support Hinuch. I can do staka. I can help Shevat David. I can, whatever it is. Yeah, I can do more for the soldiers. Whatever the tzedakah is. Lo adif ma'aseh diba machshavta ela menefesh achionis beimis ma'atzma. all these acts, utterance, and thoughts are no better than vitalizing animal soul itself. So that's the problem. When you're not doing that, then all you're just doing is becoming an animal, basically. Because animals also have kiyuma.
Yeah.
What do? They spend all day survival. So that's what we're doing, just on a more sophisticated level. If we don't insert any of this spiritual mindset.
Spiritual mindset. You got to be a spiritual warrior, as they say.
Yeah. If we don't bring that into the game,
Just took a bit of a treif lesson, though.
Yeah, I know, because Yoshka Nix. But there's something to it. It's a good film, actually, isn't it? Is that what it's called? Spiritual warrior? I think it is.
It's like a very modern day hashtag spiritual warrior.
Yeah, but it's also, there was a few films with that kind of focus. It was all about prayer and it's good. There's some athletes and stuff, and they had to pray to get to that next level.
So the question now becomes, I don't know if he's going to address it. I have two questions. One is, so where does the Indian of Shalolishma Balashma, like how does that work out here?
Oh.
And then the other question.
Good question.
Is what if someone is like, and maybe this is what the Tanya is trying to say, is like, what if he's like, shtickle, let's go back to the tzedakah incident. Like somebody who is giving tzedakah, not for the wrong reasons, but not for the 100% purest, rightest reason. It's a mix, He has guilt. He has a sense of obligation.
Yeah.
He feels like it's the right thing to do, but at the same time, there's an Indian of L'Shem Shemaim within all that, right? If I feel guilt, that means that I'm aware that there's a Hashem out there, and it's not black and white in that way. So where does the Tanya? How does the Tanya? Where does that fall within the level of the Tanya? Maybe he talks about that.
Good question.
Yeah. I should write a letter.
Yeah. But let's hope that the Tanya's going to answer that somehow.
I hope so.
But let's hold on to those questions.
He's not going to answer that. He's going to answer what it is that's to have on. The answer that to never even have that question.
Okay, good. That's a good point, because that sometimes your questions are answered just from the MS.
Right, the MS itself.
Itself answers your questions. So this is where we got this. So it wasn't just from my friend. It's from the Tanya. Everything in the totality of things flows and is drawn from the second graduation of Klipah. Remember, this is a continuation of the previous Perek. And Sitra Acha, which is in the progressive ascending order of Klipah, is the fourth Klipah called Klipah's Noga, that shines. But in this Klipah there is yet found a ray of holiness. That's why it keeps calling this bright, shine, whatever you want to call it. It's something which is very translucent. And there was another word, I don't even remember the word my friend used. The point is there's something, a ray of holiness within it. There's something needs to be released towards Kedusha and not get caught up in, like everything in life has some sort of existence from Kedusha, otherwise it wouldn't exist. Oh, here we go. This is the famous statement which I brought up in the previous Perek, but it's actually here where it says it, in Perek 7. This world is called Olam Asiyah, this world of action. Rubu Kula Ra. Majority of it is evil. Yeah, which, let's look at right now, the world, and I would say, yep. Rak Ma'at Tov Mu'urav. There's a little bit of good into good with it. That doesn't mean you're Rubu Ra and you've got a little bit of into good, because you have a Nefesh Alakus, which we're not talking about right now, but you have a Yid has different levels, yeah?
Right.
So we don't have to, just because the world's like that doesn't mean that defines us as well. We're not the world, yeah? But the world is on the world of action, it's talking about the lowest level as well, is Rak Ma'at Tov Murav B'tocha. And there's only a little bit of good mixed up in it, which is part of what we're here for, to get that little bit of good and release it. From this minute amount of good within Klipah Noga come the good qualities of found in the animal soul of the Jew, as explained above. So this is not talking about Nefesh Alakus. We've got plenty of other good that's in a different realm to this. This is all about within the realm of Klipah Noga, this sort of neutral ground, which he doesn't want to call that, but whatever, this level, this fourth level of Klipahs, there's a little bit of good, which is what I'm so busy with. And that's where our Midas Tovas come from in the level of the Nefesh Bahamas, the animal Nefesh. And we're going to discuss this. This is important. For example, let's hear. He explains some examples. The Jew's inherent qualities of compassion, benevolence, stem from the animal soul. We see that in the world big time.
Interesting. Okay.
All the liberal Jews have these attributes. Obviously, we can see it. Now, where they're missing is they don't have to connect it to the Nefesh Elikus. They don't guide it towards the Shem Shemayim, so it gets caught up in all these movements that are not good.
Right.
Take it down. But this is the soul of Klipah, yet because its origin in Klipah knowledge incorporates good as well, it gives rise to good traits of compassion and benevolence. But it's still coming from a good place of compassion and benevolence. But it's Klipah's Noga, it's the fourth level, it's not yet clear where it's heading. So it's all about the direction of it. Since Klipah Noga is a mixture of good and evil, any action utterance for emanating from this Klipah can be utilized for good or evil. So it's in that sort of state of transition that if they channel it towards tzaddikim, Torah, mitzvahs, Yiddishkeit, nefesh elikus, godly soul, towards Hashem, which is my whole thing. Everyone needs to start knowing more about the godly soul, because if they connect more to godly soul, then everything will elevate. But Miz, they don't know they have a godly soul. They don't know they don't believe in it. They never learn about it.
Talks about this a lot. Like he'll mention, like it's like, and you know what?
So they're having all this compassion, but it's going towards the wrong team. Yeah?
It's like things he said. You're like, it's like one of them was like the Yachad Ninatzeach.
Yeah.
And then he was like Yachad Im Hashem.
The guy, by the way, who changed that Im Hashem, made the new sticker, contacted me last night, and I had a whole chat with him, not about this sugya, just about he wants to move to Efrat because he's so impressed with the community here.
Wow. Where does he live?
I don't know if he wants me to give details, but
somewhere in Israel.
Some in Israel, which is not bad. Like, look, I sent him I used his sticker for a podcast. Yachid Im Hashem.
Another one. I don't know. I didn't see that one yet, but someone mentioned like there was Am Yisrael Chai, and it's Am Elokei Yisrael Chai.
Oh, wow. Added in that. Godly spot.
Which is true. It's like we so quickly.
We're so close to the MS.
Right.
But it really is literally just a little shinui.
Right.
Not the shinui of like Lepid's father back in the day. It's the MS is shinui. What's that little change?
Right.
The change is we have to bring in Hashem to everything. And not in an external way.
Right.
It's not enough just the sticker. We have to MS believe it.
Right. It's true. No, but it's true. We keep thinking Am Yisrael Chai, and it's really beautiful. But it's almost like we're really like slowly like shifting again back to like that modern day Zionism, waving the flag, like Zionism,
getting
like,
excited, but it doesn't really
like it's
resolve
that's not
the
coming
issue.
from the it's coming from the like that's like this whole and that's also it's the Klipah of Noga, and it's like how do we elevate how do we extract the good, or how do we, because the Klipah Noga is like the potential force of connecting to Hashem.
He hasn't even said other than Hashem Shemayim, but for me it's so clear. You have to bring the Nefesh Elikus into the picture. You have to bring it some godly energy, godly soul. Otherwise it's just sort of floating around and then most likely falling into the Gimel Klipah's Tameas. So then you make, who do you make the hero? That, don't mean to talk bad about her, better than nothing, better than what's out there, but that Montana lady, the TikTok star, you make her the star, and don't mean to be rude, but you're not the best representative of us. Don't mean to be rude. You're a nice lady, and very pretty and all that stuff, and you've got good values, but you're not the most sneers girl, No. And your representation of the Grammys didn't inspire me, No. Yeah, I didn't get inspired. I actually had with each time I keep seeing it on my feed, it was like, get off my feed,
Get off my feed, dude.
Yeah. No, just whatever. It's just not going to help.
Klipah.
Yeah, I don't know if she is, but maybe she's good. But I'm just saying.
Karen Klipah.
I have no idea. We've got our names: Kevin Klipah and Karen Klipah. She's not that. No.
Karen Klipah.
She at least she's saying bring them home. She wants the right thing. But the problem is, once again, it becomes like an external clout thing, an influencer thing. Like American sort of fakeness, empty. I don't mean to diss on America because England's also not so far off from it, but and most cultures of Western cultures have it not far off it. But it's a very umraker, very like empty sort of purpose. It's not like the panemius.
Even the bring them home is it can get very. People are just shouting it. They're not like getting in touch.
It comes like a buzzword.
It's a political statement that's.
The panemius of the
panemius is there like 100 plus
souls,
neshamas, like
people
souls
with lives and families
that are living in living
and the
hell.
problem is, if we don't sort out the root issues, then it can happen very easily again.
Yeah.
Because if you keep giving America the thumbs up, it's okay to like for example, do terrorism and take away hostages because you'll get rewarded with your own state. If you keep giving that weak message to the Arab nations, then the Arab nations are going to be like, great, we'll get whatever we can from you, and we'll keep kidnapping and hostages and making terrorists. Whereas when you come and blow the crap out of them and tell them stop behaving like animals and worse than animals, and you teach them with strength.
It's like imagine a child goes,
these are Amaleki Klipahs behaving disgusting. You got to smash them, and if you don't smash them, then they're being held captive, all their people, by the Klipahs.
Yeah.
And you're empowering that Klipah by keep giving them money and all this fake benevolence and compassion, which is what's
hashtag carpet bomb Klipah.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
The carpet to Klipah. The carpet bomb the Klipah.
And you can throw Kevin and Karen into that as well.
Throw Kevin in.
Carpet bomb
it's the same idea, right? It's like imagine your son wants something, a candy, a treat. And so you say no, and so what he does is he starts coloring on the walls.
Doing crazy stuff.
And so first you punish him, you give him a light punishment or a harsh punishment, and then he comes out and you give him the candy.
Yeah. And now he's learned his lesson.
Now he's learned his lesson, but now he's like, okay, if I want something, all I need to do is inflict a little damage on the house.
Yeah.
I'll get a punishment, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get my candy.
Yeah.
And that's the same
It's not really working. Whereas you have to get to the shorish.
Yeah,
what do you
if
want
your
the
kid
candy
does
for?
something that's wrong, you beat the
that's
daylights out of him.
No.
And then he won't do it again.
No, that's no.
No, that's the message I always do.
No.
Yeah, he colors on the wall.
No. We have to teach him Tanya.
Face.
We have to teach him Tanya.
No,
That's right. We have to teach him Tanya. We have to get this nefesh bahamis, which is Klipah's Noga, in towards the godly soul. We have to connect the godly soul to this person.
Yeah.
The more we shine that godly soul to the neshama, the more we're godly, the more we have to become godly. That's what it comes. That's really what I tell you. Really, all your kids and your wife want from you is just become a godly person.
Yeah.
They draw you a cop about all these other things because you're distracted. But if you're really focused and you're a godly person, then they'll get the point that you're real, and they'll encourage your avoda to serve Hashem, and they'll be part of your team. Whereas if you're like this guy who's talking the talk but not walking the walk, and you keep telling them daven and all this stuff, but they're like, you're not really into it. I see you much more focused when you're like, I don't know, doing something on your phone or something than you are in davening. Yeah. So then they're like, you're not real. Yeah. So then when they see that you're not real, so then everything you say it's just like a ma. It's like a voiceless like nonsense because it's not real. But when it's real, when your Yiddishkeit is real, people feel it, and when you speak from a real place, then they'll respond to that real place. Yeah. Their inner soul will come alive, and that's you're shining that nefesh elikus to them and awakening within them that desire to be godly people, and because that's the truth of everybody, and that's what the world needs right now. And right now it's all caught up in this fake chitzonius benevolence. We have to get to the panemius of Avram Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, the true midas, tovus of Amisrael.
So how do we get to that? That's
we're going to get there. This is Tanya.
How do we get there? Because it seems like that place.
We're quite busy with this nefesh bahamis, unfortunately, and especially all these like good midas, and it makes us feel good externally. But it's the problem. It's self-interest. It's not the shem shemayim.
But to even now go and fill it up with the alternative, right? Which I'm a little confused about. Is the alternative now like nefesh elikus, or is the alternative now like just a positive force of the Klipah Noga? It sounds like the Klipah Noga is like the Baininist is like the Indian of how we run our lives.
Yeah, but we'll start putting where the Beinani is into this story is going to make it really levitic. So
that's going to really.
We'll come back to the Beinani. The Tanya gets back to it. This is all steps towards understanding the Beinani. Because remember, Sefer Beinani. Yeah. V'hi bechinis muvsa bein shorish klipos hatuma the gamrei bein bechinis medregas of Kadosh. I don't think it is.
Oh, it says 50 chapters.
Yeah, that's just the Sefer Tanya, the first, because there's also other svarim in the Tanya. There's the Shayikh Amuna, there's Kuntrus, all the different Kuntrasim, all the letters he wrote, Miktavim. There's all different parts of Tanya, but the actual book of Tanya, like the book he wrote called the Tanya, was 50 chapters, but there's much more to it. Yeah, this covers
the publishing house.
Yeah, that's very good. Bechinas memusa bein shalosh klipas tuma legamrei bein bechinas madregas kedosha. Now, klipas number the intermediate category. We sort of were saying that it's better than neutral actually. Better word. Intermediate category between the
He
three
has
klipas,
intermediate here also.
unclean klipas, and a category order of sanctity. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a better word. We were using that word now. Okay, Parmim she the klalis b'shalosh klipas tumunis k'mosh shekosa beitz chaim shalom mem tes reish perek dalid b'shem azor Parmim shehi klalis or Parmim. Yeah, Parmim. But Parmim shehi klalis oila b'chinas madregas hakadosha. So it's sometimes absorbed within the klipas tameas. We said this in the summary from my friend. On other times, it's absorbed and elevates the category level of kedusha.
What is that? Pam shinachlas or bechinas.
So it's in that intermediary stage. The klipas noga. So you have like benevolence. Let's take benevolence. Yeah.
That I understand that.
Sometimes it's benevolent towards the wrong people, and so it's benevolence towards the tzaddikim.
So I understand that in the.
At the moment, you're supporting of the Hashem, and sometimes you're supporting of the Elilim. Yeah, people who are worshiping.
My question is,
whatever.
In terms of so I understand the specific how that plays out, but I'm trying to understand where does that fit in the realms of we have the shalosh klipas, and those are part of the right. We learned yesterday that those klipas are part of the it's from the side of the klipa, which is has the set, the sitra acher, and then the sheven.
Those three klipas tameas are going downwards towards away from Hashem, yeshus and ego and all this negativity.
Right, that's from the world, the olam of a sitra acher.
That was the last perek. Whereas this perek now is teaching us this intermediary between.
So where is that?
That's where we are now.
No. Meaning we had the
klipas noga. What we discussing.
Had the nefesh elikus, right? We had the animal soul, the divine soul. That's what he really calls
these two chapters are talking about the two levels of the klipas.
So this is in
the first level of Klipah is Klipah's given to Mentemeus, and the second level of Klipah is Klipah's Noga. It's called the fourth Klipah.
Okay,
and it's even. I think it's also hinted. It's hinted to also in the Makava.
Okay.
Even Noga is mentioned in the Makava. So part of that pasuk of Makava.
Okay, very
nice
okay.
Makava.
So this is actually in the Klipah of Klipah.
Yeah, Noga.
Klipah Noga, which is in the side of Sitra Acher.
It's not in the Klippas. It's not in the Sitra Acher. It's above that. It's in an intermediary stage.
You're saying it's between the Sitra Acher and the divine soul.
I'm
and
not
the
saying it.
soul.
Tanya's saying it. Yeah.
But no, this is still within the animal soul.
But it's the nefesh bahamis of Yisrael, and it's not the nefesh. The nefesh of the Umas Olam. I don't want to. It's hard to say this, but this is unfortunately the way the Tanya was. I mean, it's not unfortunate. It's just emes. Was defining it in the previous chapter. That's by the non-Jews. The goyim is nefesh klipas demeis.
Right.
The nefesh bahamis of Yisrael is klipas noga.
Got it.
That help?
That helps.
Okay, so you're right. You got to keep the categories clear.
By categories, it gets a little mixed up because now he's saying that it goes and absorbs.
The problem is because it is literally going up and down. Depending on your intention, your Shem Shemayim, if you're the Shem Shemayim, pulls it to Nefesh, because if you're not the Shem Shemayim, you can get pulled down. You don't have to, but it most likely, it's not going to stay in that intermediary stage. If you're constantly fressing New Delhi every day and licking out the thing, and you're not thinking about Vodas Hashem B'Chlau, and you're just watching Netflix, but Mela, you're going to get pulled down to Gimel Klippas Tameis. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
And then you're losing all that ray of Kedusha into the Klippas Tameis. You're pulling sparks of Kedusha, ray of Kedusha into these Klippas Tameis.
And you get a tummy ache later.
Yeah, and there's other nafkaminas, obviously. It leads to other things. Everything leads to other.
So it's a thin veil, a translucent veil.
Right.
That separates.
Bright, he says here.
It separates the bright veil, right? So that bright veil is in the world of Nefesh Bahamas. It's in the animal soul
of Yisrael.
Yeah. And it separates the part that is
right. And our vote is to elevate it, to get it, to clarify it. Because we learn a lot b'mei shalach. It's all about birurim, clarifying. But here he doesn't use that lashon of birurim so much. I mean, he's going to mention it now. He's going to say, Dahainu shatov u'morav bo nizbar ma'ara. Absorbed within sanctity when the good that is intermingled is extracted. This lashon of biro is very important. Birurim. It's a very deep concept. we have it in Hilchos Shabbos. You're not allowed to do Bura b'Shabbos. One of the reasons is because there's Aliyah Salomis. So the world is already Mevared. You don't need now to do it on Shabbos. Shabbos is the day of Menucha. The Bura are done. You just eat food. You eat food now Shabbos. It's Kula Chodesh, says Rav Tzaddik.
Wow.
So when you're eating Shabbos, the food is already elevated. You don't need to elevate it. But during the week, if you don't...
That's the Chiddush of Shabbos.
Yeah, the Chiddush of Shabbos. But during the week, if you don't have the right kavanas, the right L'Shem Shemayim,
right.
so then your mail of the food is going to pull you down into Gimel Tomatoes. So
it's like in Shabbos, suddenly there's this like super power
Aliyah Salomis, the world gets elevated.
Where everything you do almost becomes Lishma in some weird way.
You're sleeping, the eating,
right?
The relations, everything goes to Shem Shemayim.
They're not
automatic because it's
doing
part of Shabbos, Sonic Shabbos. But it has to obviously be in the realm of Shabbos. It means you're keeping Shabbos.
Yeah.
Shmir Shabbos,
Zohar even the Keeper Shabbos, that's like, even that is elevated. Very, very interesting.
I don't know. If someone's not keeping Shabbos, I don't know.
No, I said the keeping of Shabbos, even if it's
Shabbos,
not Lishma, even if you're just like, I'm keeping Shabbos, but I really
because Shabbos is coming every week no matter what Jews do.
Yeah.
But you can't, I don't think you tap into that Aliyah Olamas, you don't tap into that elevation without keeping Shabbos. I don't think you get the ability to tap into it. It comes by keeping the Shabbos. The Shom V'Zoch of Shabbos gives you the access to that elevation. You're not going to get it if you're breaking Shabbos. So that's what's so important that we keep Shabbos. I mean, it's not the only reason, but that's part of the avodah. And then what happens? You extend to be absorbed in Kedusha by the sparks that are within these Klipahs Noga. Yeah, so the eating, the drinking, these mundane activities get an elevation because of Yeshem Shemayim.
Yeah.
You're eating fat meat. Yeah, this is
marbled meat.
Back in the day, this was like kings and queens would be lucky to get this food.
How you doing?
Now every American, probably not every, but majority of Americans have a good access to fat kind of meat.
Meat boards.
They're into their meat. The English not so. We're more into our fish and chips. Derech Moshul Ochel Basar Shmina. You eat the fat beef. The Torah V'soira. Sorry, it says Basar Shmina the Soira. It's I think it means an ox or
eating marbled meat and fragrant wine.
V'shosa yain v'vusam. And spice wine, like the real good, $1,000 bottle wine.
Spiced.
In order to broaden his mind for the service of Hashem and His Torah. So you're be'emes learning Hashem. You're eating this geschmack of Gashmis for the sake of Hashem. And it brings a Gemara in Yoma. K'da'ama Rava chamra v'reicha. Wine and fragrance made his mind more receptive to Torah. Yeah. It expanded his das.
Yeah, those are
that is America has that power to use this shefa that it has, this yeshiris, and to use it to expand people's das, not make them into fatties, but to make them into of their Shem. Because they have more yeshiva das, because they have all this plentifulness, so they can now serve Hashem with more yeshiva das. Or b'shul kedei l'kayim mitzvahs onik Shabbos v'Yom Tov. And here we bring the Indian of Onik Shabbos and Yom Tov into the story. We mentioned it, we were sort of heading there, it's a great example, and Tanya brings it. Maimonides, he brings from the Rambam, Hilchos Shabbos, Hilchos Yom Tov, Shulchan Aruch, by the Alter Rebbe, yeah? So the idea is that it's all L'Shem Shemayim with Shabbos Kodesh Yom Tov. You're saying, I'm not doing it L'Shem Shemayim, I'm doing L'Shem, I don't know, I say, covered Shabbos Kodesh is what I say, yeah? So that's my way of being Yotzi, or covered Yom Tov, yeah? Or Simcha's Yom Tov. I have this siddur that has all these Hashem Kudja Baruchus. I try to say them all the time.
Right, so when we do it, even when we make it, we're doing when we make on Shabbos, I usually make the meat, and so that in, and even though I might not be saying all
the different
kavanas, right?
I have them in the siddur.
All the kavanas you can have when you're making it, like probably many of the tzaddikim in this world do. It's still a covered Shabbos, right? I'm still making. I don't make it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, so right. Ramela is the covered Shabbos. Azayin is bar chias v'basa v'yayin she'nishbar me'klipa noga v'ola l'Hashem k'ola k'korban. When one eats and drinks and cooks like you do every week for the covered Shabbos, it is extracted from the evil and ascends to Hashem like a burnt offering. So the cooking of the meat. You're cooking that meat. When you that Klipah Noga now becomes like a korban.
And the meat and one's Klipah's Noga energy is refined.
Your body now becomes a Mizbeach. You are offering up to Hashem. Your shulchan becomes a Mizbeach.
That's a great...
You're offering up to Hashem. You're elevating this Klipah's Noga. You're extracting from it the Kedusha and elevating it. So it shouldn't get stuck in evil. And sending it to Hashem.
In the actual food, you're elevating the actual food.
The sparks of godliness in the food.
The bright...
The bright, which is partly what we're here for,
and then we become like the mizbeach.
Yeah, and it's elevating us.
Interesting.
As a human being, we're getting elevated, more godly. So sometimes you make these jokes. What's the vitality of a joke?
Another example is the use of humor to sharpen your mind.
What's humor? Because it opens up your mind. It opens up the das. Any good Rebbe will make a joke at the beginning of a shir. The Samach Libo Lashem. Like Eli Stefanski's Daf Yomi. Daf Yomi can get pretty, difficult sometimes. Yeah, but he constantly keeps the energy level high.
I never listened.
The Chevra. So suddenly now you're learning Daf Yomi, enjoying it, your mind's open, you're paying it, suddenly you start absorbing some of the sugyas that you probably by yourself, you don't have such a good shmaka Rebbe, you might not have makabel. So you're samech, v'libo, Hashem, your mind and heart is rejoicing to Hashem, the Torah, v'lavadoso, and it's Torah and Avoda, which what? It's shzichim lios b'simcha. We have to do it with simcha. Here we go, Chassidus. It's not just Chassidus, it's Yiddishkeit. Yiddishkeit is needing to be done with simcha. Yeah, this is Aleph base of Judaism. Yeah, that Simcha is a big part of it because that opens up your minds and your heart and elevates what you're doing to Hashem. And we have plenty of precedences of not just Chassidish Rebbes and Siddiqim, but the Gemara.
This is probably the makar for like all Chabad. I don't know if you ever noticed. Chabad Shluchim or Chabad like Rabbanim. They're very simchadik, and whenever they speak, they always throw in jokes.
Yeah. Rabbi Tamidav, the students become cheerful and therefore more receptive to understand the discourse.
My wife is going to murder me.
Okay, good. This is a good reason.
She's going to send me on her before.
Here we go. Now you're going to get L'Shem Shamayim.
Okay, we're going to do this tomorrow, yeah.
You hear why? You're going to get murdered.
Yeah.
But you did it for the sake of Hashem.
She's going to say, way.
No, you don't justify. You say, I'm wrong, you apologize.
No.
But you now get purified.
I usually just tell her. She'll say, where were you? I'll say, did I give you permission to talk? So I said to her. So excuse me, I give you permission.
You humble yourself and take the hit, and that purifies your kavanah of learning this morning. Oh, we're changing?
No, not changing. I just need to.
Simcha.